Welcome to Tonia's Kitchen, where taste and nutrition go hand in hand. Here is Tonia King.
Joining me today is cookbook author Jessie-Sierra Ross. We're talking about the brand new, beautiful book, Seasons Around the Table. Jessie, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, this book just jumps out at you with colors and such vibrancy. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Is this your first book?
So this is my very first cookbook. And what's interesting, at least to me, is that I'm self-taught. I have no experience within the cooking field, never mind food photography and florist sort of endeavors. I'm actually a trained professional ballerina by trade.
No kidding.
And I kind of fell into this business about 10 years ago when I was looking for a new project. I had just moved out of Boston and found myself in the beautiful farm-to-table atmosphere of Western Massachusetts. And I had two young children at home, and with baby babble in both ears, I needed something to do. I needed an outlet, and I soon found myself cooking and really diving deep into these techniques and ingredients and flavor pairings I had never used before. And being in Western Massachusetts, I had all the access in the world to beautiful produce. So it was really inspiring to me to get into the kitchen and create recipes. And I started off with a blog called Straight to the Hips Baby, which gives you a clue of what I like to do. I love butter and sugar and cocktails and, all of that fun stuff. And after a really successful Thanksgiving dinner for 16, instead of emailing those recipes, I created a blog, and it became a lifeline for me. And it's evolved into this beast that's now in print. It's on TV. I do regional morning shows as well as streamers all across New England. And now we have this book, Seasons Around the Table, that just really crystallizes everything that I love about from scratch cooking and home entertaining with loved ones.
Oh, well, I love it. And I am definitely right aligned with you. And this book, this is more than just you learning how to cook things. The layouts, the ideas that you give for setting the table and flowers. You're all about flowers. I love it.
Yes.
The colors. What you do is guide us through making a dinner party a little bit more special. Tell me about your ideas on that.
Absolutely. So for me, being so impacted by where I lived and the seasonality of the ingredients, I really wanted to create something that was unique to the market, but still spoke to so many of us, because farm to table living, really, it's not just eating, is such a philosophy. And when I sat down for this book, I said, you know what, I am going to take this by season. So for each season, we have 4 distinct menus that are themed or associated with a holiday. So let's say for the springtime, we have a Mother's Day brunch, we have an Easter dinner, we have a baby shower. And for each menu, there are 4 to 5 original recipes, from cocktails to desserts. And I guide you step by step, because being self-taught, I understand that not everyone has that background knowledge. I think a lot of cookbooks kind of assume that we know what a roux looks like when it's ready to go, and you can add the cream to make the cheese sauce, or when that flourless chocolate cake is ready. But that's not necessary. And to add to that, I want to guide you to create these really beautiful floral bedecked tablescapes. And I give you an order of operations, what you're going to need, how you're going to do it. And it's that philosophy, that can-do attitude, that I want to impart on the readers, that not only can they build their confidence and their techniques, but they can use this book as a party planner in their back pocket to eventually create their own original tables and menus. Because once you gain the skills, the sky is the limit.
Oh, absolutely. But I got to tell you, some of these beautiful dishes, they're too pretty to even eat. I'm just so impressed and just excited about some of these things that you have in this book. And they are really beautiful. And you have a lot of edible flowers. And, it makes you really get excited about a meal.
Absolutely. And it's all about those small touches that create the biggest impact. So for me, I don't want someone to think that they need to be tied to their stove for the entirety of their dinner party and not out with their guests. I want to show you how to do this so that you create those maximum impact moments. And as you said, with the food styling, it's something as easy as dropping some edible flower petals on top, or using fresh herbs, or plating, a little tart cut on diagonal. It's those small, small touches that make such a huge difference. And I have to tell you, all the food styling we did in house, that was me. All the recipe development was me. And my husband, actually, we're a team of two at Straight to the Hips Baby, did all the photography. So we are truly a
Wow.
Western Mass institution
Well,
here.
that's great.
Um,
We eat with our eyes,
absolutely.
and people get excited when they see something on a table that just jumps out at you.
Yes, we want to invite people to the table. And I think for a lot of folks who may be intimidated or may think, oh, I don't have matching china. I have, this and that from thrift and vintage stores. I don't have a full set of silver. You don't need all of that. I've shown you, you don't need all of that. What I want you to do is to dust off your great grandma's china that's sitting in the attic. Bring her to the table, create those
Right.
memories, talk about her. Don't let mismatched plates stop you from creating a beautiful scene. Don't let perfection stand in your way of creating an absolutely fabulous dinner party.
I am so with you on that. I think it's just really important because many times, like you said, we have our grandmother's dishes, buried in the basement. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Bring
get
them out.
excited by being able to use them and think about, wow, look at how long ago somebody else was sitting at the table with these same
Mm-hmm.
dishes. That's really
Mm-hmm.
cool.
It is, and it's, in this world where we have this super sort of fast consumption, it's a way to upcycle. It's a way to create and connect to memories too for the next generation. And there's a beauty there. In the book, I really elaborate on how this is not necessarily your grandmother's dinner party. We're not doing, 1,000 courses, 1,000 sets of silverware, but we are taking the best parts and streamlining the whole process. You don't need to get rid of beauty to make it modern.
We are talking with Jessie-Sierra Ross about her brand new book, Seasons Around the Table. How about we dig into some of these delicious recipes? And why don't you share a few with us?
Absolutely. So, with the holidays coming up, I am all about the easy, the delicious, and really the things that create and stir memory. So, one of my favorite recipes in the book is actually one of the simplest, but simple doesn't mean not delicious.
Right.
I have this amazing apple and pear crumble in the book that is decadent. It is ooey gooey, and it has all the classic flavors of mom's apple pie, but with a quarter of the work. So it's chopped and sliced Bartlett pears that are juicy and ripe, crisp gala apples with a touch of cinnamon and vanilla, and right on top is this really buttery crumble that resembles a pie dough deconstructed. It's just a little bit of butter, sugar, flour, and you sprinkle it on top and you bake it until it's bubbly and golden and you serve warm with vanilla ice cream. It is a hit at any table. And if
I'm,
you're,
I'm ready to
you
have it
know,
now.
yes, well, I eat it for breakfast. Don't tell anyone. But another recipe, if you want to go more towards this sort of classic, we have a whole roasted chicken in there with fresh thyme so that I can show you how to make a stunning main dish in under an hour. There's a smoked Gouda mac and cheese with a crispy cornflake top, fresh salads. So I will share one of my favorite recipes, and it speaks to my heritage. I am Slavic. I love the flavors of Hungary and Ukraine and Eastern Europe. And I have a beautiful, beautiful recipe for a traditional chicken paprikash that's done within an hour. So
Wow. How do you make
it's
that?
Oh, here we go. You use chicken thighs, which are actually more moist and they have a lot more flavor than chicken breast, which is a
Hmm.
white meat, tends to dry out. You're going to quickly pat that down with salt, pepper, and flour. You quickly sear it in a Dutch oven with a lot of butter, a touch of olive oil, and then you
Mm.
keep that rendering. So there's a lot of great flavors in that chicken fat. And to that, you add flour to make a roux, and then chicken stock, smoked Hungarian paprika, which is a little bit spicy, a little smoky, lots of dried herbs, and you let that thicken and stew. You add your bell peppers and your onions and shallot and fragrant garlic. The kitchen smells to me like home. It's inviting me to the table. And you
Mm.
would add your chicken back, let it simmer for a bit, add a touch of sour cream for a really lovely decadent texture, and then serve the whole chicken paprikash with sauce over a mashed potato that's been riced, which means that you've put it through a ricer, which really translates to a finely, pretty much smushed potato with lots of butter and cream. And it is It's mouth-watering. It is homey. It is still very elegant, but it tastes like a hug. This is something that my mother and my grandmothers would make. It speaks to my Ukrainian soul, and it's something that I make for my family all the time. And the thing is, our dishes, they don't have to be fussy to be fancy. And that's a real motto for me because when you're elevating your recipes, your plating, your table, it's not about adding extra stress to your life. It's about adding extra beauty.
I love it. Love your whole concept. I think it's just great. I am right with you. And there's so many people that really are. And sometimes you need to hear that from,
Mhm.
an author such as yourself. It's pretty exciting. Let's do another one.
I have one that you are going to love. So Christmas morning brunch. The family is around the Christmas tree. If you have littles in your life, they're ripping open the packaging and the dog is barking, everyone's going
Right.
crazy, and you want to serve something special. But you might want to serve something that you could make the day before or prep the night before and pop in the oven. This recipe for a giant gingerbread cinnamon roll with espresso icing is
Wow.
the ticket. So we start off with a milk dough base, which is a Japanese style of dough. It's no more difficult than a standard yeast dough, but what's interesting is you start with a starter of cooked flour and water together, and it's these extra proteins in that dough that make it soft and fluffy and moist. It's perfection. And you roll that dough with a combination of butter, soft butter, because again, straight to the hips, baby, seasons around the table. It's all one thing. We want to enjoy life. And we sprinkle it with cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger, a little bit of allspice, clove. We roll it up into a large cinnamon bun and we place it into a cheesecake pan. So that's the size we're looking at. You bake it until golden. And what's really special about this recipe, besides the homemade espresso icing, which is you'll be licking the bowl, um, is that every bite, because it's milk dough and it's large, is like the ooey gooey center of a cinnamon bun. So every
Oh.
bite is moist. There's no dry edges. My guests, my kids, my family, they go bonkers for this dish. So I make it every Christmas morning and I'll make it for special occasions. Even my spring baby, who's born in May, he's asked me to make it for his birthday cake. This is how special it is. So highly,
Wow.
highly recommend this giant gingerbread cinnamon roll.
Great. I can't wait to try that one. My goodness. This is the time of year where we're thinking a lot about comfort food.
Mhm.
We're moving into the winter season. So let's share another maybe comfort food dish that you might have.
Absolutely. For me, I mentioned very quickly that mac and cheese, the smoked
Yes.
Gruyere and the cheddar. So if cheese might be my love language, in addition to cocktails. So for me, that ooey gooey cheese sauce, which is, I know a lot of people think, oh, it's so much work, I couldn't do it. It is not. It's not. It's one step more than, say, using a boxed sort of powder. What you're
Oh,
doing,
yeah.
the base of a cheese sauce goes back to the French style of mother sauces. We're making a bechamel sauce, which is just butter and flour, sometimes a little bit of shallot, a little bit of cream, and we're adding bucket loads of smoky Gruyere, which has this intensity about it. It smells like when you're walking outside on a November day and someone has their fire going with maple wood. It's just that aromatic deliciousness. And then we're adding some good old orange cheddar. So it's a little bit sharp, but it's so creamy. And we're going to create this cheese sauce that is I would put it over everything. Put it over broccoli, put it over cauliflower, but definitely put it over noodles. So you're going to create this macaroni and cheese of your dreams. You toss the pasta in this a decadent cheese sauce, place it in your casserole dish, top with buttered cornflakes. Seriously, I took a tip from my grandmother who, she lived through the Depression era, the World War II era. Cornflakes were a thing. They're a thing for a reason because they're delicious. So
Right.
as a topper,
You just
it's
crush them.
amazing. You just crush them lightly, butter, and when you put them in the oven, the crispy topping gets golden and buttery. The ooey gooey sauce is bubbling away, and then you have this toothsome noodle. So when you are just diving into this plate, it is everything you want in regards to texture, to flavor, to look. And what's great is that you can make it a day ahead of time and reheat. So if you wanted to, say, have a day after Thanksgiving lunch, or you have guests coming into town over the holidays and you don't want to think about feeding a large crowd, you can feed them with this vat-sized casserole pan of ooey gooey smoked macaroni and cheese.
Wow. That definitely sounds like a crowd pleaser for sure, right? My goodness.
Absolutely.
You also get into some really cool cocktails, and gosh, your display of them with all the different things is just very exciting. Let's talk about a special holiday cocktail that we might want to put on the Christmas table. What do you suggest?
So I have some favorites. For me, cocktails are about balance. So all of my cocktails are striking that sort of balance between sweet and tangy, acidic, and also tasting the liquor. And being a ballerina in my past, I didn't always have, enough time and space and energy to create those cocktails, but I've made up for it tenfold. So in the world of cocktails, one of my favorites for a crowd at the holidays in particular is a spiced cranberry Aperol spritz. Now, Aperol is a bitter orange Italian liqueur, and it's bright orange. It's delicious. In Italy, they drink little shots of it over ice as an aperitif, a sort of precursor to the meal to open the palate. Yep. Here, I've added it to Prosecco and a little bit of simple syrup and soda water, and we've added this gorgeous homemade spiced cranberry simple syrup, which a simple syrup is just sugar and water boiled, but we've upped it by a notch by adding some leftover Thanksgiving cranberry sauce and some spices, strained it, let it set, and you have this drink when everything is all combined. Throw a couple of frozen cranberries in there with your ice, maybe an orange wheel. It tastes like your favorite cranberry juice, but elevated. It's cranberry, orange, the little peak of Prosecco, the bubbles that make you think that you're having a party. It is fantastic. And what's great about it is you can leave the ingredients out for your guests to make on their own at an Aperol sort of bar setup, which is fun because then they get to play mad scientist. Or because you don't even need a shaker, you can have a set of them ready to go as your guests come in the door. You just hand them a cocktail. Let them know they are in for a treat that night.
I think that sounds absolutely delicious.
Absolutely. And being in New England, I mean, cranberries are life here.
Oh, absolutely. It's it. Are you kidding? We are talking with Jessie-Sierra Ross. Jessie, this is a beautiful book, the brand new book, Seasons Around the Table. How do we find you on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at Straight to the Hips Baby, as well as on Facebook at Straight to the Hips Baby. You can find more information and recipes at straighttothe-hipsbaby.com. And I have a Substack newsletter, which I am so thrilled to present. And it's going to have exclusive recipes, scenes from behind the book tour, and my very honest opinions about cooking, home entertaining, and floral arranging. And that is called Jessie-Sierra, The Last Bite on Substack.
Sounds exciting. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you again for having me.
Check out our Facebook page or listen to the complete interview on our podcast, Tonia's Kitchen, on your favorite podcast app.